everybody, and welcome back to another episode of How to Make Visual Novels with Dagger. Last time we were talking about very basic scene creation and setting up the program. But today we're going to be talking about character interaction and setting up a very simple scene. Now, just like last time, I'd like for you to watch the video once so you have an idea of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And then I'd like for you to watch it a second time, but this time following along with me in the program. Okay, so let's get started. Now, just as a refresher, when you start up fresh, what you gotta do is, you get your black page, then you're gonna wanna go up to the novel tab at the top, go to properties, and then choose the canvas size. We're gonna use my original setup. So now, when you start a new novel, you start anything, you're gonna get this blank page. Now, it's very important that we fill this page. Now, I have a blank page at the start of all my parody videos, just to make sure I got my screen capture software ready to go when I hit the button. And also make sure that everything is running properly. Now, if you remember from last time, you gotta go into your asset folder, you gotta go to imports, and then you just put in whatever background image that you want. I got these two all ready to go. When I hit the preview button, you see it just goes straight to what I have animated that's written out. So, we don't want that to happen, because we're not ready for that yet. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the action window. We're going to click, and we will hit wait. Now, waiting determines how long it takes before the next action plays. You can have it set to a certain amount of seconds, you can have it set to a minute, or you can have it set to manual, so each click will advance, rather than having to wait out the time. So, and you go over here to the property inspector, you can set how long you want it to be. You can go up there. Ooh, that's quite a bit. We don't want that. Notice the allow skipping button. Now, allow skipping means that as the timer is going on that wait action, if you click the mouse, it will automatically advance. So if you have that enabled, a player doesn't have to wait out the clock if they don't want to. They could just advance manually. But there's another feature for this. We could change it from timed to mouse button is clicked until a certain thing ends. So I'm going to have it set to till mouse button is clicked. Okay, now we got our wait until mouse button is clicked. Alright, but we need something to advance to the next page. So we go to your action window again, then you click story, then you hit go to page, go to the property inspector, go to page, and then hit next page. Okay, so that will advance you to the next page. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Now, I like things that are self-explanatory because they explain themselves. Hence, self-explanatory. Now, notice when we go to the preview button at the top, we are not advancing because we have to wait till the mouse button is clicked. So when we click, it will just advance to the next thing. And since our first page one copy has nothing, it just skips straight to the second page one copy where the dialog box and the text object are animated. So we'll go to our first page one copy. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did last time. We're going to have wait till mouse button is clicked, and we'll go to, there we go, and next page. Alright, that's pretty easy, right? Alright, so let's preview it again, starting from our first page, and then we will click. Alright, now we're on the second page. But I don't like that the image just pops up. Now we're going to get into some slight technical stuff here. When you're making a scene, depending on the emotion, what's going on and all that stuff, you can have your background image pop up just like that. Which is fine, but since I'm introducing a scene and I'm going to introduce characters who are going to have a conversation, I want to bring in the scene in just the right way. So I have to add a little bit of animation to it. Okay, so we're going to go to page one copy here. And we're going to retitle it to page 2. Yeah, that's right. It's getting an upgrade, so this way I'm not confusing you with all the page 1 copies. Alright, we're going to go down here in the property inspector. Going to hit enable transition. And then, look here, you got all these different types of transitions you can do. You could do crossfades. You can do gradient color fades. Now there's two very fancy types of transitions here. we got flip page, and we got turn page. And just as you could probably figure out, it mimics the page turn of a book. All right, how about we try something else? Let's try, how about flip page? Okay, we're gonna preview it again. Oh, that looked even better, huh? All right, let's see what else we can do here. How about this one? How's that gonna look? Preview. All right, that looked pretty nice. Now, when it comes to me personally, when I'm introducing a scene kind of like this, I want to introduce it with a crossfade. Because, you know, it's the first scene of the visual novel. I want to introduce everything, so a crossfade I feel is perfect for that. But if you were changing from, let's say, one scene to another, then that gradient transition will do much better than that. But, you know, again, it depends on the situation and your personal take on it. Notice in the property inspector, underneath the type of transition, you have time there. Now, that means how long it takes for the transition animation to finish. You can have it set to 1 second. You could set it for as long as you want, but now this is going to get technical too, because you want to introduce a scene, so you kind of want it to take a little bit of time, but you can't take too much time because then your player, your reader is just going to be sitting there and is just going to be watching this scene come into frame. Okay, now since I'm introducing a scene, I want to set this not too long, but I don't want it to be too short either. Let's try 4 seconds. How's that going to look? That's taking a little too long for my liking. Let's try... How about that? How about that? Alright, that's better. That's better. I think I might leave it like that. Okay, so for our next page here, I'm gonna retitle this to 3 because I'm gonna use that very soon. Now, look at this little trick I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna duplicate. Okay, now you see what I just did there? I duplicated the page. Now what does that mean? That means whatever I right-clicked on and duplicated, that's what it does. Now, there's a very specific reason I do that. Is because, look here, if I was to add a new page, it's blank. There's no actions, there's no nothing, there's no progress from what I had just done. So, that doesn't do me any good. Okay, we're going to delete this. And yeah. But you need to be careful when you're duplicating page because it'll say page whatever copy. And if you keep duplicating pages, you're going to have a lot of copy, chameleon. You don't want that. So always make sure, so you stay organized, make sure you number all of your pages correctly. Okay, so I'm going to leave page 2 as itself because I'm bringing the background into focus. Because I also want to introduce a character as well. We're going to go to the imports here. We're going to bring Mion in again. All right, now we got a resizer. Now, just like I showed you before, you can mess with the proportions of this character. And we're going to put her right here. That's good. That's good. Now, in visual novels, when characters are talking, you're always going to have one to the right, one to the left, and then sometimes if there's 3 of them, one will be in the middle. But me personally, I use that very sparingly because then there's too many characters on screen and there's too many things going on at once and it gets kind of confusing. So I always try to keep at most 2 characters on the screen. And I have her positioned like that because it just looks really, really stupid if you have her at the edge. See right there? Her hair gets cut off. If you have her too close to the edge, that doesn't look right at all. So I want to keep her on the right side, but not too close. That's a good enough distance right there. Okay, so we're going to introduce Mion here. So we're going to go to our transitions. I want to have crossfade. Now I use crossfades whenever I introduce a character because the other transitions do not work. They do not work with the characters. You always want to have crossfade because that creates the illusion of animation. But Dagger, I thought you were going to teach us animation. You didn't say anything about creating an illusion. Shh. Nobody has to know that it's an illusion. Don't tell them.
It's a secret, don't tell him.
Now, having a character crossfade in is very different from having a background image crossfade in. So for me on here, I want to have her set to... I like to have it set to 0.5 because it's not too long, it's not too fast. And like Goldilocks, it's just right. And we're saving. Remember what I said last time? Save, 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 save. Are you saving yet? Alright, next on the agenda, we want to have Mion speak. So we're going to have to do this. We're going to copy and we're going to paste this stuff over to here. But, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I goofed. I do this all the time. Even when I'm making my parody videos, I do this all the time. I always think faster than what I'm doing. Let's click on our dialogue paragraph. And let's have Mion say something. Okay, now unfortunately, this program does not have a spell check or a grammar feature, so you're gonna have to be very careful when you're typing things. What I like to do is, I always like having Google Docs or Microsoft Word, whatever word processing program you have, and I type out my script on there. And then I always have that right next to my window, so all I just gotta do is just copy and paste. It makes things a lot easier, so you don't always have to worry about spell checks and grammar checks. And I want to change the speed of this, because she's gonna be talking. I don't want this to be too slow. Let's try 35. Let's try that again. Okay. Alright, I like that. Alright, let's preview it from the top to see how we're doing. So we're at our blank page, we click. Background comes into fade. Then Mion comes in. Then we're going to click again. And now she's speaking. Okay, there we go. But I want to make this better. I'm going to go to page 3, because now this is the page where she comes into frame. Now, since she comes in and she's going to talk, I don't need that anymore. I just had that just so I can test some things out. So we can remove that. Okay, now we're going to preview it again from the top. We're going to click. Background comes into scene. Click again. Now see, it just goes right to her speaking. That's exactly what I want. That's good. Because before, it was just awkward. She's just staring at you with these big green eyes. She's just staring at you, waiting for you to click the button so she can finally start talking. So by getting rid of that, we can go straight to the scene coming in. Then you click, and it'll go to her appearing on the screen, and then the text box appears, and then she starts talking. That's exactly what we want. Okay, now we're going to introduce another character for her to talk to. I got to bring one of her buddies in. So let's go with Rena. Oh, she's so happy. She's so happy. We're gonna do the same thing that we did to Mia. We gotta resize her. Oh my gosh, where did her legs go? They don't have any legs, they've been cut off. Okay, make sure it's right where I want it. That's good. I also want to make sure the sizes are fine. I want to make sure the sizes are proportionate. Now, I can't remember in Higurashi, I can't remember if Rena is shorter than Mion or about her height. I also have to take her hat into account because that gives her additional height. So I think that's good. I think that's right. I don't know. I'm always crazy about making sure the sizes are fine. Now we need to remove what we typed for Mion, and we're gonna add in Rena's dialogue. So we're gonna put, oh, Michan, that sounds wonderful. Now, we're going to add a second paragraph, a second dialogue paragraph. Now, the nice thing is once you synced up the first dialogue paragraph to the text object, you don't have to do that for the next additional dialogue paragraph, because it'll just automatically sync to it. And then I want to type in something else. However, ... There you go. Bring this down so I can see. Okay. So we're going to try this. All right, Mion speaking. She's like, hey, Rena, you up for some club activities? Oh, that's right. Since she's talking, I don't need the I don't need the wait until click button there anymore. I can just remove that. Now notice after she says her line of dialogue, it's not advancing because I have that thing, and I want it to advance to the next page the second her dialogue's over. Let's preview it. Up for some club activities. And it'll advance. There we go. Rena comes in and she says her line. Perfect. And we'll click again. It advances to the next dialogue paragraph. Okay. Now, I'm going to teach you something really cool right now. So we go to our dialogue paragraph, and we'll go to the second one we have here that says however. So we're on our however dialogue thing. Then we go down to property inspector on the left, and we'll scroll down to append. Now, what the heck is append? Well, if you click append, it'll attach your second dialogue paragraph to the very first one. So the two have become one. You gotta make sure everything's spaced. That's the only thing about that. Now, what does append do? Now, append means you can have multiple dialogue paragraphs appear in one text box. Now, that's all controlled by a mouse click. We're gonna preview. Oh, Beacon, that sounds wonderful. Click. However. Now, why would you append something? Well, that seems to be the theme of this video. It's all about the technical stuff. What you want to do. And what fits the scene. Now, horror games use this a lot. Higurashi especially. Where you'll have one line of dialogue and you click thinking it's going to go to the next page and the next scene or whatever. But then another string of words pops up. It's like, oh man, the scene's still going. What's going to happen next? So depending on the scene, it'll build up suspense. But it also gives you more added content to that one particular scene. Now for me, I don't think append will work for this. At least it won't work for me personally. Because I feel that just having, oh, Bicha, and that sounds wonderful, however, on the same thing, you're kind of looking at a bunch of different, you're looking basically at two emotions here. You're looking at a happy, oh, we're gonna have a best time, we're gonna be best girlfriend, it's gonna be fun. And then all of a sudden, however, all right there at the same, you know, some people might be fine with that, like, oh, you see the transition between happy-go-lucky and then super tense. But me, I don't like that. I like to focus on one thing at a time. So, I do not want to append this. I want the however to have its own separate thing. So this way your attention is going to be on the however when it pops up. Let's go to true Higurashi fashion. Let's turn this happy scene into something really horrible and foreboding, shall we? Let's get creepy faced Rena in there. Now, I just want to make sure she's good. Making sure this sprite matches the same size as the previous one. I swear when I'm making my videos, I spend more time resizing sprites than I do anything else. Just because I want to be sure everything is on point. I want her to say something really spooky. Because she's got the spooky eyes. So let's have her say, how about this? I'd rather talk to you about our Lord and Savior, Oyashiro-sama. Because, you know, Rena's a very religious person. She's got the fear of God in her. She's got quite the fear of God in her, so that's perfect. Now, since she's talking all spooky like, we gotta have our text animation match that. So simple fade's not gonna work, smooth fade's not gonna work. Let's try typewriter, because typewriters are creepy. Now, if there's one thing that Capcom has taught us in Resident Evil, typewriters are some spooky shit. It goes back to the technicalities. You want to make sure everything matches in the scene. So I think having the typewriter and the very slow text animation, I think that all fits together very nicely. Now we also need the scene transition, because you want it to animate her emotional shifts in just the right way. So okay, that seemed to be a good enough speed. Because usually when I do character emotion changes, I have it set to 0.3, so it's not too long, not too short, it's just right, like Goldilocks. I'm gonna be saying that a lot. But since Rena's in creepy mode, and I'm trying to build up tension, I wanna prolong it just a little bit. I wanna prolong the animation just a little bit. Now we're gonna... Okay, kids, let's play this game. Everybody at home can play this game. What are we gonna do now? If you said B, you're freaking wrong. If you said D, you win a prize. You know, I think I got some dog treats lying around somewhere, but that's all right. I'll get that to you soon. Don't worry about it. All right, so we're going to preview it from the start. See how we're doing. Ooh, that escalated quickly, didn't it? Okay, now I'm going to show you a little something for character transitioning in and out. You want to see how it looks like without transitions on? All right. This is how it looks like without transitions. So we're going to have her talk. Then she pops in. God, that looks terrible, doesn't it? Well, to me, it looks terrible. You see, she just pops in like that. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Please do not do that. Please do not do that. That makes me really mad. Just now, I don't like when a character just pops in a conversation like that. I don't like when they just pop in when the scene starts. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. That's why I always have my characters crossfade in, because it's neat, it's clean, and it's animated. I like that. I just don't like having a character just pop in like that. It just doesn't look right. I mean, it's not the wrong thing to do, but I personally just don't like it. It's just nothing. It's just not aesthetically pleasing to me. So I always have my characters crossfade in. Now we want Mion to react. We want Mion to react to Rena going super nuts. I could have Mion be really scared. I can have her be really surprised. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have her be mad. Just gotta make sure I got her all proportioned and ready to go. Make sure the sizing is right. Now, in the interest of time, I cut a lot of that part out because that was just like 10 minutes of me just trying to mess around with the spray to make sure it's good, and I didn't want to torture you. So let's have Mion say her line. Let's have her say something something along the lines of how about this? Would you knock that off already? There's been 8 story arcs of you freaking out about that crap. Which is true. Which is true. Good job, Mion. Good job for being very self-aware. Okay, the dialogue paragraph's all set to go. Gonna make sure the speed and everything is good. Alright, now we're gonna preview it from the previous. Okay, now what am I gonna have Rena do now? Because she's gotta react to what Mion's saying now. Do I make her go even more nuts? Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Mion's mad, but we can make this better. I want to make her more mad. So we're going down to the action window. We're going to hit camera. We're going to hit shake camera. Now, what does that do? Now, as the name implies, as every other action name implies, this is going to shake the camera. Now we can have it shake in all directions. We can have it shake horizontally. We're going to do vertical, but for our intents and purposes, I want to have it set to horizontal. Now, you can increase and decrease the amount of time you want the camera to shake for. You can increase the magnitude, so if you want to make it a soft shake or a stronger shake or a vanilla shake, you can definitely do that. If you want to shake and not stir it, you can do that too. Now, this is the standard 1 second. Okay. Not bad, not bad. I wanna set it to how about that? Alright, that's good. Now, eagle-eye viewers will notice something in that property inspector. You see that thing? You see that little button right there? That allows the camera shake to happen as the dialogue box animates. Now, when you first put it in, you know, the camera has to shake before a certain action happens. So the way I set it up is that the shake happens as the dialogue box animates. So that way you get all of the visual evidence you need that Mion's not taking any of Rena's creepy garbage. Alright, we're gonna duplicate, and then we're gonna have Rena respond. We need her to respond to this. Am I gonna make her super nuts again, or is she gonna calm down? I think I'm gonna make her calm down.
I'm sorry, I get a little excited sometimes.
Now, I could just leave her with the creepy face. But I don't want to do that. As funny as that is, I don't want to do that. Just like I did with Mia, I just cut through a lot of me screwing around with the sprite to make sure it's proportioned right, so. Alright, let's go to the previous page, let's preview it. So Mion says her thing, she's super mad. And then Rena comes back out of her creepy mode.
And she's like, oh geez, I'm sorry.
Now since she's coming out of her creepy mode and she's going back to normal, I want to make sure the time is also just right on that. I don't want it to be really long, and I don't want it to be short again either. I'm sorry I keep saying I wanted it to be just right. I just got Goldilocks on the mind. Goldilocks can be applied to anything. You can apply Goldilocks to anything. That's a mantra that I live by. Okay, so we're going to save. Now let's start from the top. One more time from the top. See how it all plays out. And boom, there you go. One scene looking very, very nice. And we're just going to save one more time because I'm paranoid. That's how you make a pretty basic scene with character crossfade, background image crossfades in, and you got some camera shake thrown in there. That wasn't too hard, right? See, it's like I was saying before in the first episode, you know, it might seem like it's tricky, but the more you play with the program, the more you practice, the better you'll get at it, and the faster you can do stuff. And the more fun you're going to have. Okay, so I think that's going to do it for today's lesson. I already threw so much stuff at you, so I think I should give you guys a little bit of a break. Now, next time, we're going to talk about adding sound to our scene to make this scene even better. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you've seen and like what you learned, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on future lessons, and please consider checking out my Patreon page for the show. Thanks again for watching and for your support, and I will see you guys in the next lesson.